Stravinsky intended initially to entitle his score "The Victim." To demonstrate the significance of the Great War, one must, of course, deal with the interests and emotions involved in it. This book approaches those interests and emotions in the broad terms of cultural history. This genre of history must concern itself with more than music, ballet, and the other arts, with more even than automobiles and graveyards. It must, in the end, unearth manners and morals, customs and values, both articulated and assumed. As difficult as the task may be, cultural history must at least try to capture the spirit of an age. That spirit is to be located in a society's sense of priorities. Ballet, film, and literature, cars and crosses can provide important evidence of these priorities, but the latter will be found most amply in the social response to these symbols. In modern society, as this book will argue, the audience for the arts, as for hobbits and heroes, is for the historian an even more important source of evidence for cultural identity than the literary documents, artistic artifacts, or heroes themselves. The history of modern culture ought then to be as much a history of response as of challenge, an account of the reader as of the novel, of the viewer as of the film, of the spectator as of the actor. If this point is apposite to the study of modern culture, then it is also pertinent to the study of modern warfare. Most history of warfare has been written with a narrow focus on strategy, weaponry, and organization, on generals, tanks, and politicians. Relatively little attention has been paid to the morale and motivation of common soldiers in an attempt to assess, in broad and comparative terms, the relationship of war and culture. The unknown soldier stands front and center in our story. He is Stravinsky's victim. Like all wars, the 1914 war, when it broke out, was seen as an opportunity for both change and confirmation. Germany, which had been united as recently as 1871, and within one generation had become an awesome industrial and military power, was, on the eve of the war, the foremost representative of innovation and renewal. She was, among nations, the very embodiment of vitalism and technical brilliance. The war for her was to be a war of liberation, a Befreiungskrieg, from the hypocrisy of bourgeois form and convenience, and Britain was to her the principal representative of the order against which she was rebelling. Britain was in fact the major conservative power of the fin de siècle world. First industrial nation, agent of the Pax Britannica, symbol of an ethic of enterprise and progress based on parliament and law, Britain felt not only her preeminence in the world, but her entire way of life, threatened by the thrusting energy and instability Germany was seen to typify. British involvement in the 1914 war was to turn it from a continental power struggle into a veritable war of cultures. At the same time that tensions were developing between states in this turn-of-the-century world, fundamental conflicts were surfacing in virtually all areas of human endeavor and behavior, in the arts, in fashion, in sexual mores, between generations, in politics. The whole motif of liberation, which has become so central to our century, be it the emancipation of women, homosexuals, proletariat, youth, appetites, peoples, comes into view at the turn of the century. The term avant-garde has usually been applied simply to artists and writers who promoted experimental techniques in their work and urged rebellion against established academies. The notion of modernism has been used to subsume both this avant-garde and the intellectual impulses behind the quest for liberation and the act of rebellion. Very few critics have ventured to extend these notions of the avant-garde and modernism to the social and political as well as artistic agents of revolt, and to the act of rebellion in general, in order to identify a broad wave of sentiment and endeavor. This book attempts to do so. Culture is regarded as a social phenomenon and modernism as the principal urge of our time. The book argues in the process that Germany has been the modernist nation par excellence of our century. Like the avant-garde in the arts, Germany was swept by a reformist zeal at the fin de siècle, and by 1914 she had come to represent both to herself and to the international community